Hi, my name is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses with healthyblackwoman.com and successfulblackwoman.com. I'm here today with my good friend Shaquita Graham with lovingtheblackman.com and ateco.com. How are you doing today, Shaquita?
I'm doing great, Noma. How are you?
I'm doing great. So our topic right now is something that you brought up about Meagan Good and her husband, Devon Franklin. I'm looking at my notes here. So tell us a little bit about the segment that you saw that they did.
Well, they're promoting a new book called The Wait, which from my understanding is about how they managed to not have sex before they were married. And as they're on the book tour, they're doing question and answer sessions. So someone stood up in the audience and said that she wasn't going to come to the session because she was in the grocery store and she saw Meagan Good kind of, boobylicious, if you want. She had her she had her cleavage, doing its thing, and she thought that was inappropriate and that her conversation should match her image. And Meagan Good's husband came to her defense and said, look, she can dress however she wants to. And so I wanted to talk about it. I mean, what do you think about it? They've said a couple of things we're going to talk about, and how it relates to Black love and Black relationships.
Okay, well, I'll address the covering up part. And I know that her husband has on many occasions has had to come to her defense because people will approach him too and say, why can't you have your wife cover up? You're a pastor, you're supposed to be modest, she's supposed to be modest, so why doesn't she cover up? And he just basically says that Meagan is, in Hollywood, the standards are different or whatever. I'm not sure I agree with him in his reasoning, but I think I said this to you before we even recorded the segment. And I was like, you know what? If he likes it, then I love it. If he's not bothered by it, then I think everybody else should shut up and leave her alone. What do you think?
I mean, I think, there's so many layers. And like you said, when we were talking about it, I mean, we just use different people as case studies. I mean, everybody has to do what's right for them. And I don't know Meagan Good or him, so I'm not really trying to diagnose them. But in the grand scheme of things, there's so many things to think about when we as women come out in public. We have to think about younger women who are looking at us and who may not know that, we're married, that we are living this, really modest lifestyle or whatever. They get their influence from the magazine cover that we posed on when we were boobylicious. So you've got that part, but then you're a married woman and you still want to project that sexuality. It's really for your husband, but men like their women to look sexy, not just at home, but, period. So you've got that aspect of it. And then as a woman, you want to embrace your sexuality to an extent. Then we can take it overboard to the point where we are playing into an image that's being propagated around the world about Black women being very lustful and using that image to make us targets. So it's like, how do you balance all of that? It's just so much responsibility.
My personal opinion, and we'll go back to Meagan Good and the topic at hand, but my personal opinion in terms of finding your role models on reality TV shows and magazine covers is that my daughter, that's not where she gets her role models from. I'm her role model, her aunts, our close cousins who I, let into our circle. Those are her role models. So to me, that's a non-issue that, maybe she's supposed to be a role model to our children and so forth. And I get it. Some people do position themselves as role model. I just happen to not use celebrities as role models for my daughter or my son.
Yeah, but we still have to look at the fact that we have a community that we, some people feel that we should be accountable to our entire community. Absolutely. Of Black children, Black women, Black girls and Black boys, because again, that's a whole other topic of what she's stimulating in Black men.
Absolutely.
About the sexuality of Black women. So although you might have your daughter under wraps, we still have a community of women that we have to move amongst and who we have to expect to be a part, an important part of our community in the future. And so what we do may have some impact on them. I mean, I try to just keep a balance. And I think that's where what it all comes down to. Everything in moderation, right?
Right.
You know, I'm married, but at times, you know, I mean, I definitely want to embrace my curves, my femininity. I don't want to take it overboard, but at the same time, it just depends on where I'm at. Now, Meagan Good, you know, it's hard for me to comment on her because I'm not in Hollywood. And what would I do if I was in Hollywood and I was on some cover or something? I think I would try to strike that balance, you know, because they have me on the cover because I'm a beautiful woman too. And that is saying something to our community and whatnot, but at the same time, it's just a hard balance to strike. It really is.
Right. So the second part of this was the segment about him talking about tailoring his marriage or learning to tailor his marriage to his wife. Can you say a little bit more about that since you saw the segment?
Yeah, I thought that was interesting because they were having a conversation where he was saying how he felt before he got married, he had an image of marriage being something that was going to drag him down, that was going to cause him problems, to where it was going to kind of stifle him from being the man that he really wanted to be. And he said he was happily surprised when he did get married that it empowered him to be more of the man that he wanted to be. And at the same time, he had to learn to start to dismiss these images and ideas of people telling him how he needed to be in his marriage and focus on who did he need to be as a husband to Meagan Good, because not anybody else's husband, but specifically her husband, and for her, the same thing. How does she go about being a good wife, whatever good wife is, to Devon Franklin and dismiss what everybody else is saying? And I think that was important.
Right. I think that has two parts. You know, in terms of success principles, I've, you know, written a book and I have an audio book about success principles in terms of being a successful person, a successful woman. There are principles that you have to kind of abide by in terms of maybe marriage or life in general. But when it comes to a specific person, and again, I think I was sharing with you that I once wrote an article that a lot of times when people want advice or want to know how to be successful in their marriages, they'll go to counselors, they'll go to books, they'll go to friends, they'll go to their mama, to his mama, you know, and all this other stuff. But the main source that many people miss is that your husband or your spouse is the main source of what it is or what they need in order to be successful in a marriage with them. In other words, you can get all the good advice that you want about marriage in general, but in order to know what a person really wants, you have to tap into that person and listen to that person. And I think that's what he's saying, because he probably went into the marriage, especially being a religious person, with all this stuff going about what it means to be a religious man and a religious married couple, and then found out that maybe it actually doesn't work when you try to squeeze somebody into some preconceived notion of what it means to be married. And then he realized that actually, no, she has to get to know me to know what it means to be married to me and what it takes to be successful being married to me. And I have to know what it takes to be successful in pleasing her and being a good husband to her and being successful married to her. And I thought that was a great thing for him to finally realize or to come to and to start to put into his marriage.
Yeah, I saw a comment in the comment section of a blog. It says a husband wrote that what makes him feel most loved and appreciated is when his wife can sense a need that he has and she proceeds to meet that need. And, you know, I think that's kind of what he's saying. You know, we get all this general kind of high level advice, but in reality, the ultimate respect and the ultimate love is kind of listening and observing your mate and what they need at the time.
Absolutely.
You know, I heard one time I was at a church sermon and the lady was saying, you're trying to drag your husband out here to church and, you know, you get mad if he didn't come to the, you know, Wednesday night Bible study. Sometimes you need to just stay home and work on cleaning that house up and getting them dishes done. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Absolutely.
Clean the house up, do your hair a little bit and skip church tonight, and that's what you might need to do for your marriage.
Right.
And don't let anybody shame you about that.
Right, exactly. So you mentioned the book, The Weight, and I wanted to get your take on what you thought about the whole thing of them waiting until they got married before they actually were intimate with one another.
I mean, I think that that's beautiful. My husband and I, we were on that journey. We didn't quite make it, I can say. But I like the quote that was said here on a picture, an advertisement about this book. It says, "Unnecessary access denied." Actually, this is an excerpt from the book, The Way, and it says, "Your body is a temple of God. Be careful who you allow access." So the principle itself, I really agree with that. And I think that people who follow the scriptures, if that's a part of your belief system, then you should move forward with it. In general, I think it's a good practice to be careful who you allow access to your body. You only have one body. And a lot of times we just don't take pride or have enough self-worth in, our bodies. And, I definitely can say that I made that mistake before and had to learn, to just be more cautious. This is a very important decision that you're making. And I think right now our younger generation could use, at least we should position this option to them and promote it to them. And let them know this is a worthwhile option and what the pros are.
Right. That's always been my take on it, because people will, I've brought this up before, and people will say to me, well, that's not even realistic. How stupid is that? And all this other stuff. And all I'm saying is it should be a consideration. That's all. It should be on the table.
You're afraid to say it, Noma?
What'd you say?
Are you afraid to say it?
No, I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it at all. But I've spoken about it a lot, because I used to mentor 18 to 25-year-old girls. And a lot of people would say to me, that's unrealistic. Don't even tell them that, because they're going to do it anyway and all this other stuff. But so what they're basically saying is, don't even bring it up, because it's not going to happen. But the truth is, some people actually do exercise that option. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that is great that Meagan Good having, that highfalutin life that she has, and him also being out there in Hollywood. We know it's a different world than the one we live in. There's a lot of temptation. There's a lot of opportunity. And there's a lot happening. And for them to exercise that option in that environment, I think it's a very, very powerful thing.
I definitely think it's a powerful thing. And when you talk about mentoring, I wrote a curriculum for young women and men that taught them about abstinence and how to go about it and what the purpose was, because we have to prepare our children. We have to prepare our teenagers. And I'm not just saying preparing them by saying don't have sex, but explain to them the steps that happen that lead you to sex or no sex. Explain to them, what do you say when you want to say no? How do you say no? When is it going too far? How to take control of the situation? How to determine if this is what you want to do or you don't want to do? So that's, again, equipping them with all of the tools that they can use, and not just saying, okay, well, look, here's a condom, do your thing, or to say, look, I don't want to catch you having sex. We need to get more, I think, into the mechanics of it. And I had a lot of young women write me letters and say, wow, you really opened my eyes to what I could do, my own power, my own strength. I mean, they did things like write letters to their husbands, their future husbands, write letters to their future wives, these kinds of things, the men, of course. And so that kind of gave them some perspective about the decision that they were making, which many times young people just don't have that context.
Right. Okay, so the last question that you and I had was, is there such a thing as a perfect marriage? Devon Franklin and Meagan Good really in a perfect marriage. So what do you think?
Yes, my marriage is the perfect marriage. No, I mean, I think you should feel like, your marriage is perfect for you, because what you do is you see even the imperfections. You love it. You like, oh, I know how to manage that imperfection in my husband. He knows how to manage that imperfection in me. And we've come full circle to a place where we know that we are the only two for each other. I mean, this is our perfection.
Right. I was going to say that, I mean, obviously nobody's perfect and no marriage is perfect, but I like to think that my spouse is perfect for me and I'm perfect for him. And we continue to work on it. But with this couple, I would caution people to not look at people who seem perfect and assume that they are perfect, because in the background, as you probably know, and I know, and I say it all the time, there's always stuff, there's ups and downs,
Oh, yeah.
And it is what it is. I think what perfection is actually doing your best and understanding that there are going to be ups and downs and just not giving up and continuing to, again, just do your best. I think that's aspiring for perfection, but just knowing that perfection or what is perfect isn't necessarily the same for everybody.
So to me, to just wrap it up, it's like having your own home, right? It's perfect for you. It's home.
Right.
It may not be perfect for anybody else. You make your bed a certain way. You have things, certain pictures you like. It's for you. It's your own personal oasis. And I think what we're really saying, the takeaway here, is make your marriage and your relationship that oasis for you, for one another. Regardless if it looks like paradise to anybody else. I'm just talking about in a healthy context.
Right.
But yeah, make it an oasis for you and your mate.
Absolutely. And that's a great note to end on. I want to tell our viewers about, I remembered and you didn't. Shaquita and I have actually partnered, and we're very excited about a new project that we're working on. We're creating a new platform called Married Women's Business, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's basically, if I was to describe what the platform is, I would be describing Shaquita. And I would be describing me, and I would be describing women like us. It's women who are moms, it's women who are married, and it could be either or. And it's women who want to really strive to do their best as wives and do their best as mothers. And then on top of that, they're women who value and are pursuing financial freedom.
Yeah.
And want to build multiple streams of income. We believe that it doesn't just end with being a mom. It doesn't just end with being a wife. Although those are very important roles, each one on their own is a very important role. But I think that there's a lot of talented, beautiful women out there. And I think that it'll be exciting to be able to communicate with them, to share information. It'll be exciting to see what they have to share with us. And we've built a platform because we always enjoy, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of it, but before we get on and record, we actually have some time to talk, and we've really enjoyed that space. And we want to involve and encourage more women to join us in that space. So can you say the link? It's
Married Women's with an S business.com. And, I would describe marriedwomensbusiness.com as a social forum and a virtual destination for the Black woman who wants to have it all. And it's a narrative, and it's an image from real Black women, and not just some corporate-led, machine that is telling us who we should be. But this is authentic. So I can't wait to see people arrive at this virtual destination, and we just have fun and we grow and whatnot. So it's marriedwomensbusiness.com.
Okay. So right now we're working on a June 1st launch, which is only a few weeks away. So we're diligently working in the background to get the platform ready for launch. And we'll be sharing more information in the coming weeks of how you can jump in, give us your email so that we can send you information about the launch date and what we'll be offering when it launches.
Absolutely, yes. Stay connected through providing your email at marriedwomensbusiness.com. And thank you so much for watching. There will be no trolls there.
We can't guarantee, but they might follow us. I just want to say thank you, Shaquita, for a great segment once again. Thank our viewers for watching. My name is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses with healthyblackwoman.com and successfulblackwoman.com. And this, of course, is Shaquita Graham with lovingtheblackman.com and ateco.com. And now, of course, both of us are from marriedwomensbusiness.com. Thank you for watching.
Bye.
Bye.